Hello everyone, I'm Jay Coker, Chairman of the Board of Producers Rice Mill. As you know, we've been with you a couple times throughout the year and the previous years, bringing you some updates. Today we're talking more about our harvest. We're just now in the initial stages of harvest here in the Mid-South. USDA has us at about 15% harvested on this date for this year so far. That's a little bit below last year and a little bit below our 5-year average. But as you remember, we had a wide planting window. We had some weather extremes, so we're seeing the effects of the delayed planting right now, where the harvest is delayed just a little bit. Field yields seem to be within a mid-range of a 5-year average. We're below last year's averages, which were a record yield. Milling yields are probably a little better than last year, so that's a good trade-off. So we like to see a really quality crop from a milling aspect, as well as having our yields within an acceptable range. We hope that that's where we're gonna be, and we would like to think that with the wide planting window that we saw throughout Arkansas and the Mid-South, it went all the way up until the end of June. These yields and these milling yields may actually improve as we go on through the growing season, so that's what we're hoping to see. One of the biggest factors that we have before we're able to actually start harvesting is the moisture content of the grain. We typically like to see the rice down below 22% before we start harvest, 22% moisture. A lot of farmers go out to their fields, they can look at them, they can make a visual inspection. Some of the rice is green, some of the rice is more mature, more golden. But typically we have moisture meters on our combines, our harvest machinery, or we take a sample of that field with the combine and take it to the local dryer, local grain storage facility, and get a moisture content before we actually start. The moisture content has a lot to do at harvest with the quality of our milling yields. So we have a range of about 22% down to say 17%, where we like to be able to try to harvest that rice during those moisture content periods. The moisture will continue to get lower and lower as we progress through harvest, but that range seems to be where we get the best milling yields and the highest quality for the harvested grains. The moisture at harvest, to some degree, research indicates has an impact on our milling yield. As you've heard us talk about in the past, milling yield is an important part of the crop and the quality of the crop. So the moisture that we tend to harvest at typically falls within a range that research indicates that's when we have the highest milling yields. So that's when we have our best chance to recoup all the grains, less brokens, more whole grains, and that's typically the moisture content that we like to do our harvesting at. As we move into harvest, we want to think back on what all the challenges the Producers Rice Mill members faced this year, as well as the general public. We're still fighting coronavirus, we're fighting the cost of our inputs, availability of inputs. So to be at this stage of harvest, we're thankful to have the crop that we seem to be harvesting. We're very optimistic that we're going to have the bushels of production and the milling yields that we need. So Producers Rice Mill members, the employees at all our dryer and receiving locations, those guys at the mills, they're going to be hard pressed to handle this crop. It's what they do, they're professionals. We're thankful that we have those guys. They're going to be putting in a lot of hours, so keep those people in your thoughts. The members of Producers want to thank all the customers that depend on Producers to provide their milled rice needs. And without you guys, it would be even more of a challenge. So we appreciate the fact that we have the opportunity to serve your needs and meet those milled rice needs of the industry.